Prophet Nuh alayhi salam is the third prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was a very patient man. He was the first man to invent ark. He called people to worship Allah for 950 years. Whenever any righteous person died, his statue was erected and worshipped. For example, Waddan was a righteous man in Babylonia. When he died, people became very sad. Shaitan saw this and came in the form of a man. He asked, "Shall I make a statue of this man in your village? You will then feel like he is still with you." They agreed to his suggestion, and soon a statue of Waddan was made. People used to visit it and talk to it daily. Shaitan saw this and again said, "Shall I make many small statues of Waddan so that you all can keep one in each house?" They again agreed, and soon they had statues of Waddan in their houses. Slowly, the main reason of making statues was lost, and people started worshipping them. They started telling their children, "This is your God, worship it." Without knowing the complete story, the children obeyed their parents, and this is how idol worshipping began. Nuh alayhi salam was sent to these people to guide them to the straight path. He started preaching them Islam, but everyone argued. Some weak people followed Nuh alayhi salam, but rich people argued with him. Firstly, they said, "Nuh, you're only a man like us. If God wanted to send a messenger, why would he choose a man? He would have sent an angel." Nuh alayhi salam replied, "This world is of humans, so he sent a man. If it would have been of angels, he would have sent an angel as a messenger." Then they said, "Nuh, you're only followed by the weak among us. Send them away and then we'll think about your religion." Nuh alayhi salam replied, "They are the guests of Allah. They are not my guests. So how can I send them away?" Nuh alayhi salam told them that if they did not listen, Allah's punishment may afflict them. They said, "Bring the punishment if you are of the truthful." Nuh alayhi salam replied, "Only Allah can bring the punishment if He wills. I cannot bring it." After all this, whenever Nuh alayhi salam would preach, people would walk away from Nuh alayhi salam with finger in their ears. They started telling their children, "Don't go to him. He'll lie about your gods." Nuh alayhi salam had gathered a few believers only. Then a time came when no more people would believe. At this time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed to Nuh alayhi salam that no more people would follow him and punishment will afflict the disbelievers. He asked Nuh alayhi salam to make an ark with the help of angels. He told Nuh alayhi salam to take with him all believers and a male and a female of every species. Nuh alayhi salam was asked to leave behind his wife since she was a disbeliever. He asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, "How will I know the time of the punishment?" Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answered, "The day when water gushes out of your oven miraculously, that day will be the day of the punishment." Nuh alayhi salam prayed to his Lord to not leave any disbeliever alive so that the world has only the believers. Then he went to construct his ark. When people saw Nuh alayhi salam constructing ark, they made fun of him. They said, "Nuh, has carpentry appealed to you more than prophethood?" Some of them said, "Nuh, why are you making an ark so far from water? Are you going to drag it to water, or is the wind going to carry it to the sea?" Nuh alayhi salam patiently replied, "You'll soon come to know who will get a punishment on earth and in the year after." So finally Nuh alayhi salam finished constructing the ark with the help of angels, and the day arrived when water gushed out miraculously from the oven in his house. That day, Nuh alayhi salam with all the believers and animals boarded the ark. All species were in pairs so that they do not become extinct and can start a new life. And then came the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a flood which drowned every idol worshipper. Nuh alayhi salam's wife was a disbeliever, so she was of those who were drowned. One son of Nuh alayhi salam was a secret disbeliever. Nuh alayhi salam called him in the ark and asked him to be a believer, but he refused. He said, "I'll climb on this mountain and it will save me from the flood." Nuh alayhi salam replied, "Son, no one can save you from the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Only He can save you. Come in this ark and submit to Allah." His son did not listen to him. A huge wave came suddenly between father and son, thus drowning the son. Nuh alayhi salam prayed, "O my Lord, verily my son is of my family. Certainly your promise is true, and you are the most just of the judges." Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, "O Nuh, surely he is not of your family. Verily his work is unrighteous, so ask not of me that of which you have no knowledge. I admonish you, lest you be one of the ignorants." Nuh alayhi salam said, "O my Lord, I seek refuge with you from asking you that of which I have no knowledge." and unless you forgive me and have mercy on me, I would indeed be one of the losers. Then finally, when the earth was cleansed of the disbelievers, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded Nuh alayhi salam to come down from the ark. With the divine command, the flood retreated and everything came back to normal. Earth was full of peace. This was the first time the earth had drowned. Nuh alayhi salam released the birds and the beasts. Survivors kindled a fire and sat around it. They weren't permitted to light fire on board since it could ignite the ship's wood and burn it. None of them had eaten hot food during the entire period of the flood. After coming down from the ark, they all fasted for a day to give thanks to Allah. A hadith in Sahih al-Bukhari states that, on his deathbed, Nuh alayhi salam told his sons, "Indeed, I would give you far-reaching advice, commanding you to do 2 things, and warning you against doing 2 things as well. I charge you to believe that there is no God but Allah, and that if the 7 heavens and the 7 earths were put on one side of a scale, and the words there is no God but Allah were put on the other, the latter would outweigh the former. I warn you against associating partners with Allah and against pride." Some traditions said that his grave is in the sacred mosque in Makkah, while others said that he was buried in Balabak, a city in Iraq.